the hybridness of our work these days is one thing for sure. And I feel like, we all survived something, and many of us survived this pandemic, and we lost a lot of people. This is this huge moment, right? Nobody's ever gone through this before. So we're all still trying to suss out how to be together, how to reconnect, how to talk with each other. And so I feel like, in the workplace today, you said we've got people all over the place connecting, through all kinds of different means and ways. And it's hard, it's hard to take a moment to really connect with people because you have your job, you have your charter, you know what you're supposed to be doing. And so a lot of people just make sure and do their jobs, and maybe don't take the time to connect or ask a question just as simple as how was your weekend, that kind of thing. And so I think, with our scrolling culture as well of social media, where our attention spans have gotten a little shorter, it's like we're very apt to sit on our phones and be by ourselves and not make those connections. So I think that, employers today do have a lot of challenges in trying to figure out ways to bring people together, to suggest things, meeting in a water cooler style, something one of my teams has done for a long time is we have an hour or two a week that's just kind of open, where we open up Microsoft Teams and we pop in and we just hang out and we work. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't, but we're there together. And that's just one small example of something that you can put on the calendar and bring your team together, because you end up, it's kind of like you're at study hall back in school, where you'd study for a little bit and then you chit chat for a minute and you'd talk about somebody walking by or whatever, it's kind of like that. But those are, definitely some small thing to get people together. And then on a larger level, I think it's important for businesses to have consistency in message, in that you have an all hands meeting, or a larger meeting where you have your leadership talking about what's going on, sharing maybe even a newsletter once a week, or one of our leaders, he shares his Friday thoughts every Friday. People love consistency in a world where things are very, inconsistent and random. I think we really do like some order, and knowing that that one thing's going to come out, or those few things are dependable and that you can count on, I think is really important to people. We have all of this beautiful technology. I mean, even, if you're going into the Wayback Machine, starting with, just the internet itself, but like MySpace and Facebook and all of these things, there's all of these, wonderful pieces of technology now, that what we're on to do our video call and Microsoft Teams, and, all of these ways that we can connect with each other. And I think, Microsoft also has a whole, employee experience suite called Microsoft Viva, that was a conglomeration of a bunch of different products that are now in one suite to help with all kinds of things across the employee experience. And, I think it's really employers, from either their HR departments or their marketing departments, internal marketing and connectivity is just as important as external. There's all kinds of studies that show, productivity comes from people feeling like they belong to something greater than themselves, right? And that they're connected, and that their employer cares about them, gives them opportunities to get training, to connect with each other, to listen to cool, inspiring things, to be a part of, maybe even just a morale event or something fun where we did during the pandemic, we did trivia games together, once a week, where it was just where we got together and did something fun and silly just to learn a little bit about each other. So, I think that if companies aren't taking advantage of those things, they're really doing a disservice to themselves, their productivity, and frankly, their bottom line. As far as Microsoft 365 is concerned, depending on what kind of license you have, E5 or E3 for your business, there's Microsoft Viva. Much of the functionality in that actually comes with a license, and then there's an extra premium license that you can get for other stuff. So there is an application that's called Viva Insights, and it's all data driven. It's actionable insights about productivity and performance. So it is looking at how much time people are spending. Do you have focus time set up? How much time are they on their computers? What are they opening emails? All those sorts of things. So there's all kinds of ways to look at that and actually then be able to action it. Viva also has Viva Amplify, which is a way to send communications out, internal communications to Teams, to SharePoint, to Outlook, with one pane of content that goes out many places. You've got Viva Engage, which is a internal community application. It was Yammer. People know that word,
we know
Yammer.
Yammer.
So yeah. So it's been rebranded, and it's Viva Engage. So yeah, so there's all kinds of things that you can do to really look at how your employees are engaging with each other. Are they are their calendars just jam-packed full of meetings, all of that sort of thing. So there are insights that you can take, and then you can talk about it as a team, or you can talk about it as a company. There's also ways to do employee surveys. Like we call them signals at Microsoft. So we do that once a year, where we go in and it's employee signals and then manager signals. We use Viva to do that ourselves. So there's a way to put out like short little surveys to check in on people, and then that larger surveys. And one of the things that's really important is getting that information and then actually talking about it. Like a lot of people will take in that information and then they don't want to share it. Well, I mean, the whole purpose of that, it's not you're bad, you're doing wrong things. It's hey, let's actually look at what's happening and talk about it and figure out how we can bring some change, or make some different decisions potentially about how we work, and how we do things. So yeah, so those are available to folks who are already using Microsoft 365.